Hi. Now, in the first module of HR Generalist course, we will try to understand about the roles and responsibility of an individual HR Generalist profile. At first, we will try to understand the role that is expected out of a HR Generalist professional, and also then we will try to understand about the responsibilities that has to be managed by a HR Generalist, and what are the different KRAs that would be there if you are managing HR department as a HR Generalist. At first, we will try to understand the different roles of HR generalist. Already, we have understood in the introduction that HR generalist is something where you are expected to manage all the gamut of HR function. Maybe the sourcing or the recruitment is not there in your primary responsibility. That's the one of the activity that may not be a part of HR generalist. But apart from the recruitment, sourcing, and offer letter generation, all other responsibilities in a HR function has to be there in the HR generalist profile. You need to manage the entire employee life cycle. You need to manage the entire HR operations. You need to manage the entire HR communication. You also need to manage different types of organizational alignments in terms of the organizational reporting, different organization value creation, different types of organizational communication, and also the planning and strategy. So if you talk about the HR generalist profile, it's actually mostly you will find out that small level or mid level organizations are still having this kind of profile. Most of the progressive and bigger organizations are managing HR department in a different way. Right now, they are managing it by implementing different processes like HR business partnering, center of excellence, or HR shared services. Because it's impossible for one person to manage everything as a HR generalist if you are really managing an employee strength of more than 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, maybe 100,000 as well. So, whenever you are talking about a smaller and mid level organization, your responsibility towards the employee as a HR generalist will be multifunctional. So, once the recruitment is done, obviously you need to take care of their entire onboarding, their induction, their joining formalities, and also ensure that they are introduced to their projects, introduced to their job function. They are aware about their roles and responsibilities and have a word with their managers. And once they are introduced, obviously you also need to take care of their initial days induction and training. If they are comfortable with the organizations, with the department, and they are comfortable with their roles and responsibilities, aware of their roles and responsibilities, that is also the responsibility of yours. Apart from that, once their confirmation period is over, you also need to take the feedback from the manager to do the confirmation. You also responsible for different types of other HR employee life cycle management. Say for example, their leave allocation, their leave calculation on a monthly basis, their salary administration, their benefit calculation, benefit inclusions, or different types of retirement inclusions, which is maybe a part of the joining formalities itself. Also, you need to include them in different types of HR reports, manpower reports, employee reports. And apart from that, once the performance management life cycle comes, you need to also prepare their KRAs, their KPIs, and ensure the performance review, rating, everything is done. And the consolidated report and rating is also prepared at an organization level. Apart from the performance management, you also need to take care of their employee training and development, whether different types of training requirement at a project level, at an individual level, from different sources. The whatever the training need identification has come should be implemented. There can be a separate training and development department, but again, for a smaller and medium organization, that's a responsibility of the HR generalist profile. So you need to do that, play that role. And once you are done with the training and development, also the effectiveness evaluation is can be your responsibility. Connecting it with the performance management is also another important task. Employee engagement on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, or annual basis should be the responsibility of HR generalist. It can be different types of activities. It can be a fun activity, wellness activity, or different types of team building activity as well. Plus the reward and recognition, different types of quarterly, annual awards also has to be done by the HR generalist profile. Different types of communication related to the organizational communication, team level communication, project level communication has to be done. And once everything is over, once the employee resign or they retire, the retirement related benefits, the resignation related discussions, exit interview, attrition analysis, full and final settlement, and different experience letter or release letter has to be done by the agent generalist. So a complete employee lifecycle management is one of the primary responsibility, starting from the joining up to the level of exit. The employee is the responsibility of the HR generalist profile. Not only that, different reports related to the employee, related to the group of employees, has to be prepared, should be presented in front of the management. So they should understand how the employees are performing, what is the current strength and capability of the organization, how they can take different types of business decisions, what is the alignment possibility of the employees with the business, and also how different types of strategies can be created, how different types of manpower planning, manpower execution, organizational growth, global mobilization, this kind of different important decisions and initiatives can be taken. There also the HR department or the generalist HR profile should be contributing. Maybe there would be other stakeholders as well, but obviously they also play a very important role for the strategy creation, planning, execution. And yes, apart from that, the overall management of the organization and the employee source, employee strength, grievance management, different types of employee concern management has to be done by the HR generalist profile. So HR generalist is actually a function where apart from recruitment, you are responsible for almost all the gamut of HR function. Yes, it has a lot of responsibilities, it has a lot of trouble, and you need to face a lot of issues and a lot of work pressure as well. But on the other hand, as it's the beginning of the career for most of the HR professionals, it's a wonderful opportunity for them to learn different HR functions, different organizational functions as well. Because until and unless you don't understand all the functions, how different functions are interconnected with each other, it is impossible for you to grow, and impossible for you to take a specialized role in future. So it's definitely very important for every HR professional to understand it in this way. And yes, for the organization perspective also, it's very important for them because they don't want to spend too much, they don't want to make it complicated and complex in nature, and they want a solution where one person or few couple of person would be responsible for the HR department, the entire function of the department itself. So that would be the primary role of a HR generalist function. And yes, as I have mentioned, it covers all the gamut of HR function, starting from the resource allocation, employee life cycle management, communication, strategy, planning, operations, everything. Thank you.